Welcome to my channel. It's not really a channel. A few people wanted me to document some of the stuff that I've been doing. I'm not really good at editing. I don't have the time to edit. Pretty busy here at the shop. We got a couple cars. This one's leaving hopefully this week. That one probably 2 weeks. We just got the motor back for that. Had to get a health check. I just wasn't happy with the oil pressure it was showing. I think we figured out why the oil pressure was so low compared to what it should have been. So before I put it on the dyno and ended up hurting this motor or something, I just decided to send it back to the machine shop, get it checked out. Everything's checked out, and 100% sure that we figured out the issue. The Nova, there's probably a month left to work on that. We got some heads to do on this one. That's my vet, my buddy's vet above it. It's getting torque tube, bushings, clutch lines. I'm gonna drop the rear end and clean everything up, and just bought an industrial dry ice blaster, so we're gonna dry ice blast this car, so that'll be another video. And there's that heap of crap right sitting right there. So purpose of today's video is just to go through a little bit of the trailer build that I'm doing. So I ended up finding a 28-foot enclosed trailer, super cheap compared to what else is on the market. It's been oil sprayed. The underneath is mint. The bare bones of this trailer is in phenomenal shape for the year and country we live in. As you know, we all get snow here. They salt the roads like crazy. Everything rusts. If you don't oil spray the stuff, it's gonna rust. So I try to upkeep my vehicles, keep them in good shape. I do not like driving pieces of crap anymore. Those days are long gone. Probably I do stuff a little different than most people. I don't do things traditionally. I know a lot of stuff. I've done a lot of stuff. My methods are, I don't know what the word is, just untraditional. I wing it most of the time. If you know me, you know I got a very good eye and attention to detail. So sometimes when building these cars, if other people have done tube work or work in general on these vehicles, it's very hard to measure off of stuff and get it to look correct just by eye, or just stuff being level and symmetrical. So a lot of times we do stuff by measurements. We'll mock stuff up, and I'll take a look at it with the car on the ground and sitting where it should be at ride height and all that, and I can tell that it just doesn't look right. So I come from an era of Volkswagens, and back in that day, the VW Vortex, everything was about shave bays, tuck-in engine bays, stereos, body kits, stance, all that stuff. So I come from that time. I have a very good eye for it, but I've already started the trailer build, so we kind of missed some of the stuff. The walls were kind of in rough shape. The roof's got a couple of leaks that we're gonna fix. Nothing crazy, just tiny little leaks, and it got on the wood, and they used that MDF stuff before, so it swelled up and just didn't look right. Everything was like 1/2 inch thick, so everything's heavy. I want to get some weight out of the trailer, but I kind of planned my trailer build, I guess. I want to make, this is like a 2009, 2010 trailer. I think it's 2010, and it's 28 foot, so more than enough room. I wanted to get a 24 foot is what I really wanted, but I was actually looking for a 20 foot. I just didn't want to kill my truck, basically towing this stuff around. But anyways, I ended up getting 28 foot, so I got more room than I need. Basically, I draw everything up in my head, which is probably not ideal. So then I try to transfer it to paper and I forget some things. So as we go, I'll probably be changing some stuff. I did draw out what I wanted to do so we could order materials yesterday. My buddy Mitch come down, started out as a customer of mine and ended up becoming a really good friend. So he come by yesterday. He's an electrician. We're gonna have 120 volt, 12 volt, possibly some 240 volt in here just in case, but I'm gonna have to get a bigger generator. I only got like a 5,000 watt generator. One of the things that is still up in the air is insulation. So I ended up trying to price out some roof units, roof AC and heat, and honestly, in my opinion, those things are pieces of crap. They don't move enough air. You need a couple of them in this trailer, so I opted out for a mini split. If you don't know what a mini split is, it's very popular in the European countries. Every hotel, Airbnb, basically any motel, hotel, anywhere you stay over there, everything's got a mini split in it. So what the mini split is, it's got the condenser that sits on the outside, and then it just has the unit that goes on the inside. So I opted out for one of those. I got a 1-ton unit. It's good for 750 square feet, which is double what this trailer is. So I really don't think I need to insulate it, because I think this unit is way more powerful than it should be for this size of trailer. And the reason why I say that, I got a quote for spray foam. It's $2,500. Probably looking at $1,700 Canadian to get foam board, the green insulation board. And honestly, it just comes down to cost. I don't want to have $30,000 wrapped up in this trailer. I'm good for 10 to 15 with the purchase of it. So anyways, let's have a look at sorry I'm doing this from my phone. I got a GoPro and stuff that I got to get a battery for. I'm going to get a mic and stuff. So you can see we got the door here, wheel wells, the rear door, tie downs. That all comes with the trailer. Here's the tongue. I've already mounted the mini split condenser on the outside. We'll have a look at that. So what I'm doing today is I'm just trying to plan out what I'm going to do for cabinets. The Jenny's going to go in the corner here. It's just a rollout Jenny, so it'll just be secured here with a strap or something. We're going to put a big screen on the wall. We all need TV when, we get some downtime or we end up sleeping in this trailer overnight. So the winch is right here. I haven't decided. You can see I got my marks right here. They're not hard cut in. I don't know if I'm going to do an L-shaped bench with a full cabinet up to the roof here. That's what I got to figure out. So this stage of the trailer build, once you get the walls off, we have to plan all the wiring. Reason being is you want to have all this wiring done before you put up walls, because if you miss something, you're going to have to take all the walls off again, and that's just a pain in the arse. So our plans right now is I bought some LED lights, 12 volt. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the inside. And that's going to run off the two 12 volt batteries that get charged by an inverter. And then we'll have our 110 panel under here with 6 positions. And we're going to put 110 LED strip light here, here, and here. And they're going to be wired off of different switches. So I have a 1-prong switch or a 1-pot switch here. I bought a 3-pot switch that's going to go beside it. So one switch will be, for the 110 interior lights. One switch will be for the interior 12 volt lights. The other switch will be for the blue LED strips that I'm going to line the whole top with. And then the other switch will be for these outside lights. So I got 2 outside lights. They're LED, 12 volt. The switch at the back, we're going to knock out of the system here. And this is going to be a standalone system that controls a 12 volt, 50-inch LED light bar off the back. So when we're working behind the car, beside the car, we got enough lights. That's what we need, lights, because y'all know we no prep race. A lot of these races are at night. We're going to put a 110 volt outside box here for plugins. We're going to have a plug-in here, a plug-in here, and a plug-in here. So we have more than enough outlets. And basically, let's go have a look. Like I said, sorry for the phone. I'm kind of just a get it done kind of guy, so I don't want to miss some of the steps before my actual camera equipment gets here. Just because it kind of makes for crappy videos. But it is snowing here today. It's really crappy out. And what I want to talk about when I say I'm kind of just a doer guy. So I got this mini split. I made this nice frame, went to go mount it, and something that I probably should have did was account for the step. So I made the frame and then I had to cut the step in. Kind of crappy. It was super quick, took me about 10 minutes to make, and I'm not too concerned about rust. I do have an oil spray unit, dripless, so I'll just stick the nozzle in there and throw some dripless stuff in there and it won't rust. Not too concerned about that. It's just a simple setup, 2 little things, nice and durable, and that's where that's gonna sit. We're gonna put we're gonna put the plug for that unit under here with a 220 plug, or a 30 amp 120 plug here for the generator, just to power everything. We got to cut a door handle in here because this kind of sucks. I installed LED lights on the outside yesterday, so that will light. These are actually really bright. They're about $35 on Amazon for 2 of them, and I'm super happy with them. I shut the lights off in the shop and turned them on, and they're very, very bright. So let's have a look at what we got going on here. As you can see, we started tearing down all the walls, getting all these old. It was easier just to pull this MDF off than try to get this freaking bit. I don't have a bit that fits these, so what I did was we get all those off, and then I use one of these and just stick it on the head and pull them out. Just gotta improvise sometimes. So as I said, you can see I started running some of the wires for the 12 volt. We're gonna put a light here as per drawing, and a light here. So we'll have 3 12 volt lights on this side and 3 12 volt lights on this side. The LED strips will be, we're gonna replace all these. LED strip here, LED strip there, and an LED strip there. Actually, it looks like we need 4, so I'll have to do 4. TV is gonna go on the wall there where it says TV. Generator will be stuck in the corner. This is what I was talking about, trying to figure out what I'm gonna do here, because I would like to keep the winch. I don't know. I think what I'm gonna do is I'll make them, about 4 feet high or 3.5 feet high L bench right up to here, and have a 2 foot wide cabinet all the way to the wall, right up to that beam right there. And honestly, let's have a look here. Now that I'm looking at the roof, "24-inch roofs." So I ran wires over for those lights, we'll have the switches right here and right there. I'm gonna put a cabinet right here so I can put all my oils and whatever else goes in there. We're gonna make all the shelving, so we're not gonna buy shelving unless I can find a super good deal. These things are expensive, so I just got to get some 1-inch aluminum angle and just start framing them in and using some stainless or aluminum sheet, and we'll be in good shape. So the mini split's gonna go up top here, right there. TV down here just above the bench. Probably be like a 46 or 50-inch or something. Of shelving up here and then a bench. Like I said, we got our tie downs. We're gonna have to pull up all this laminate flooring that's in here. It's in decent shape, but it could be better. They sell 30-foot long rolls by 8.9 inches wide of the rubber penny or rubber toonie, whatever. The penny flooring. We're gonna put that down. We're gonna have to pull up all this. I'm probably gonna dry ice blast some of this stuff here and clean it up and paint them. And one thing that I might do, my old trailer had a fold-up bed on this side, and it would go up against the wall. You pull the car in, you pull it down. I might build another bed just in case I do end up sleeping in this trailer. I do have a motorhome, but I'm planning on selling that thing. We're gonna keep all this E-track or whatever they call this track, and we're gonna use it. We're probably not gonna use it in those lengths. We'll make a couple spots to tie some stuff down. So what we're going to use for walls is FRP paneling. It is a plastic panel, probably 1/8 inch thick. It's white, it's smooth, and that's probably what we're going to use in here and on the roof. I'm probably going to buy one of those Trailer Buddy units for the door. That way I can have, some brake clean and stuff in there. We're going to put the 110 volt fuse panel here. I bought a 45 amp inverter, 110 to 12. That's going to be hooked to the 2 batteries that are under here. So that way when the generator is plugged in, it's always charging those batteries and I don't have to rely on my truck or a battery charger. And that's basically a start to what we're doing. As supplies come in, I'll make some more videos and stuff like that. But if you got any suggestions on adding some things that you think you would want in a trailer, let me know. I'm always I want a badass trailer. So, and to build a badass trailer, you can't just do it yourself, you got to have friends that are good at doing stuff, and you also need people with imagination. Imagination is key with everything. Cars, quads, bikes, you name it. If you got imagination, you can build some badass stuff. So that being said, short video, almost 20 minutes. Let's do an update on the heap of crap. So we went to KD. That was our last race. Many of you know that I race every single weekend. We started out, we switched to methanol, took the intercooler off, switched to methanol, using those new Fuel Tech injectors, which are pretty badass. They idle much better than competition. I don't know why I don't build injectors. So I'm not using the driver box I've used other big low impedance injectors before, and they seem to always be a headache. If they're not failing, you know, the car idles like crap. You got four holes that are, you know, 200 degrees cooler than the other, and they clean up when you're wide open throttle. Well, you don't have that with the Fuel Tech injectors. I put these things in, made a fuel map of what I thought it needed. We fired it up, put it on the two-step one time, and we headed to KD. We ended up there. We run Friday night, run what you brung. And the first pass, the fuel map was within like 8%, which is pretty awesome. So I didn't need to do much work there. We went 2 or 3 rounds and run what you brung. And we got taken out by the owner of KD with that big tire Corvette. We did well, went fast, but he was just a bit faster. So I ended up opting out or opting in and doing testing. It was $100 a pass. And because I had so little time with the methanol, the car was making way more power than it normally is at that boost level. And I just could not keep the tire happy. The last few events, I've been having a hard time keeping the tire happy. So, yeah, so I ended up doing a couple test passes. A lot of you seen the video. My back window had picked up a rock or something and spidered the window, and I did a launch and the rear window blew. I had no idea. I did my whole pass, hit the hill, cut the tires up. Just a bunch of stuff happened on that pass. I got back, and Tanner from SRC come over, and he goes, "Bro, there's glass everywhere." I was pulling the log. I didn't even see the back window was blown out. So I looked, and sure as shit. So small tire was the next day. We had to figure out how to fix this window. I was going to go to Home Depot and buy some wood and just make a wood back window. And in the morning when I woke up, I was walking around, I looked in the dumpster at KD, and there was a big enough piece of plexiglass. It wasn't in good shape, but it was enough to do what I needed to do. So we put the window in and screwed it down, duct taped it, put the speed tape on, and prayed for the best. We did really well in small tire, considering the first pass was our fastest pass. And basically every pass after that, we were slowing down a half a tenth to a tenth. I could not keep the tire hooked up. I did switch to CO7, so I thought it was the CO7s. That's not the case. Long story short, we made it to semifinals. We raced at Talon. I got out on him. As soon as I clicked second gear, I was just on the tire, and he zipped by me and got me at the, he probably put a car on me at the finish line, maybe a bit more. And that was it. We loaded up. We come home. I didn't look at the car for a couple days. Ran some gasoline through it. Winterized it, parked it. About a week later, a buddy of mine come over, and we were kind of just, I wanted to lower the car down. So at KD, I blew the tires through the fenders. You can see I cut the tires up from bottoming out the car on the hill. This one's really bad. So I ended up coming home. We lowered the car. We cut more out of it. We lowered it 2.5 inches in the back. One thing is bar angle. I didn't have a lot of options with how high my chassis brackets were. One mistake we made when we started building this car was I built the car basically off of jack stands at the ride height I thought it was going to be. And we did the whole thing, got the tires on, it was sitting perfect, and then I ordered this wide. As you can see, the wide body kit comes down quite a bit, so we had to raise the car after we had built it to fit and not hit the tire. So the chassis brackets ended up being, 2 inches higher than I wanted them. So now we have that fixed. In the meantime, while we were taking everything off, we realized the anti-roll bar was jacked up. The shocks were jacked up. The springs, I had 80-pound springs in the back. They were kind of arced like this. So, and I'm not sure why. So I ended up putting new springs, fixed the anti-roll bar, fixed the ride height, did all this stuff. And I'm really hoping that the spread on the rear axle of the bars helps. We have a lot more spread. We have almost the same instant center length and height, but we have more spread. Anti-roll bar's fixed. It moves freely. We fixed all this stuff, and I'm really hoping that was the issue. I'm not 100% sure yet because I haven't driven the car since we fixed it. I've been working on fitting this kit. I had to trim 2 inches out of the side skirts. We're remounting the front fenders. I might actually buy some drop spindles in the front and to get this car even lower in the front. I had to raise the rear fenders. We cut more out of here. And that's another thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be enclosing the back and creating a what do you call those? Freaking, I can't, diffuser. So we're going to make a diffuser for the back, but up. You see the front end sitting quite a bit higher. But one thing I want to talk about is how much faster this thing builds boost and how much more power it makes on methanol. Typically, I would run 30 pounds of boost-ish to achieve a certain time. And at KD, I was doing it on 20 pounds. And I'm pretty happy about that. Oh, another thing. Finally got some good brakes on the front to match my rears. We did take the rear brakes apart to have a look because I've been using the rear brakes to stop this car for most of the time I've been driving it because the front brakes that I had, I just could never get them to work right, and they started leaking and couldn't stop the leak. Like I was not happy with them. So I ended up just putting the same brakes I had on the back on the front. The rears we took apart, we had a look at them, and they're perfect. And I've been using them since I built this car. Another thing we're going to be doing is getting some fiberglass doors. My driver's door is kind of screwed, and I cannot find a set of stock 240 doors for a decent price. All the guys with the good ones want the same amount as fiberglass doors. So I'm pretty sure we're just going to get some fiberglass doors. And this car, that was another thing. The rear fender caught the tire on the last one and caved this whole side in. So got this all fixed. I got it roughed in. I'm going to send it to my body guy, and he's going to block it out and skim coat it. And then probably going to repaint the car the same color. We're going to see. I got a new 9 Lives wing coming. I won one in auction for a couple $100. Pretty happy with that. This one will be for sale. I did make this one more adjustable than it was. So we have a little bit more angle in there. It's probably going to do what I want it to do now. That's something we just recently did. And yeah, we've taken about 300 pounds out of the car. 250 pounds, I think, actually. And it's weighing in pretty light in the trim it is with all the weight in the back that I have right now. So I think on front side, I can get this car around 2,400 pounds of me in it, which I think is going to be pretty badass. That's basically the update on this thing. That's why you haven't seen it out racing. I'd say probably another month. I don't think I'm going to paint it before I bring it back out because I just want to make sure everything is good. I made that mistake last time and ended up, wasting a lot of money on paint and breaking stuff. So, okay, let's talk about this. We're almost a half hour now. I just picked this up. I had sold my house and I gave myself a car budget because I really wanted to get back on the street. And I was looking at some exotic cars, and I'm very glad that I ended up with this. This car is pretty awesome. It's a Z06, so it's a 420, built 427, big cam, MSD atomic intake, Corsa intake and filter, Corsa exhaust, triple plate clutch, you name it, it's got it. But I ended up putting this thing on some BC racing coils and getting these BC forged 20-inch rims. And honestly, this thing drives so well. It's the best bang for the buck, in my opinion. I was never a Corvette guy. I always was like, you got to be 60 years old to own a Corvette. And that's untrue. I mean, it's probably still true, but for the money you spend, the car that you get and the driving experience that you get is on another level. This thing's a weapon. One problem that I do have right now is I put, I think, comp lifters in them and comp shaft rockers, the black short travel link bar lifters. They're too noisy for me. They make a lot of noise. They make me nervous when I'm driving it. So what I'm going to do is I like the Johnson 2116 link bar lifters. I put them in everything usually, but at the time I could not get them. They were all out of stock. Very hard to find. And being in Canada, if I do find them, they cost extreme amounts of money trying to get them over here with duties and tariffs and all that stuff. So what I did is I just ended up buying the BTR LS7 lifter and trays, and I'm going to swap those out and just do a health check on the motor and the heads while it's out, and that's basically all that car is going to get. But it's a pretty awesome car. Oh,